oil is a lot of hard work. Today, I'm sure it's easier, I guess, with the tools, but back then, to kind of go out there, it's like go out into a freaking desert with a shovel and dig 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 to find a penny. And do that for the next couple of years, and then finally one day you find a briefcase full of millions. And then sit down and some guy comes up to you and says, "Hi, I'm a bank. I know you've been digging and getting pennies and pennies and pennies, but you found this briefcase. That's great. Guess what? Why don't you give us the briefcase? We're a bank, and we'll put the money in there, and we'll let it gain interest, and you'll be very rich." And it's kind of like, well, okay. And it's like, good, go spend time with family. Like, there's just that level of, like, those people who, like, that analogy is about, like, these are people who don't understand him. That this is a man who, inside of him, it's very strange. It's like he's had this hatred, for other people, for lazy people, for towns, for like, that he's been busting his ass to get success, to strike it rich, to strike it, to get whatever, to get out of the poverty, or to get out of, to make something of himself. Like everybody. It's kind of like Scarface, that age-old American dream of, you come from rags and you get to riches. That finally, when you get to riches, you just see the riches. You see rich people there. And you see that these people are different from you because they didn't go out to that pit and work their life. Like, they were born in riches. And that's where they're staying, in riches. Because they've monopolized it so that they do have the railroad. They do have the bank that holds the money. They do have that thing. And they've kind of lived this lazy, this leisure existence. And they've lived it off the sweat and the brow and the backs of other people who've worked their ass off and gone crazy and hated and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, it's nothing to them. Like, the way they make money is they get on a train, they sit down and they talk and they have a meeting and then they sign up contracts and then they leave. And then other people do all the work for them. It's the kind of grasshopper effect of, the ants bring all the food and collect it and the grasshopper just comes and takes it. And it's just like, that's kind of what Daniel Plainview is kind of like an ant that is now becoming a grasshopper. He's finally gotten what he wanted, which was, I'm an ant, I'm tired of working in this anthill, I'm tired of working for the colony. I know it sounds very ants, but it's like your whole life is about, I want to be a grasshopper. What they do is awesome. They're lazy, they don't do shit, they have all the power. I want to be the grasshopper. And then you realize, you know what? I'm a grasshopper now. But I'm not a grasshopper. I'm an ant. And I don't really want to be rich. I just want it, I'm an ant. My job is to, kind of work. I have to be working, or I have to be, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like, I guess the best way to explain it is like layer cake. Where it's like, if you ever seen it, there's a scene where Michael Gambon goes, you're born, you take a shit, you live, you deal with more shit, and then one day you get to a point where you don't even remember what shit looks like. And that's like the layer cake. And I think that's the thing. Like, that's what all of us want. Like, from middle class, above, we all kind of want to reach that layer cake, that life that's, like, good. That we don't have to work. But I think it says a lot about you that, like, do you really want to be there? Can you really... does that take its toll on you? Because you look at people like Michael Jackson, and you look at, he started with his family in basically moderate settings. Not exactly 100% poverty, but now you look at him and you see, all the hard work and everything that led to music, and now he's kind of gone off and done exactly what Daniel Plainview wants to do. Isolate himself from people, from humanity, from being with people, from getting away from them, because you hate them. You don't want, like he said, you don't want them to succeed. You don't want anyone to win. You just want you. It's kind of the me mentality. And we don't, and like I said, all this talk And you look at that and you go, for me, I say it's very strange that a person would do that. That you work your ass off and not just accept that, well, you like to work. It's just what you like to do. It's kind of like people who are like, oh, I can't wait to retire. If you went to them right now and said, here's $1 trillion, retire. And you go to them on their deathbed and ask them, did you enjoy from the point that I gave you the money to now the point that you died, did you enjoy your life? Were you really rich now? It'd be very interesting to see what kind of response you would get. Like, what do people do with the money? Do they enjoy it? Do they kind of go off and Willy Wonka and enjoy their, it depends on people. Some people, it depends on how money and success and these things affect them. And it's strange. It is. It's very strange because it's more like it is. The more money you have, the more problems you have. That can you trust people? Is that something? It's very strange because it's like with him, it's like he already doesn't trust people. He already hates people. He just uses people to get what he wants. But then to put money is just kind of like, well, now it's kind of like having the money is the excuse to say, well, I don't trust people because I'm rich. I can't. And it's just not like, no, you just don't trust people because you don't trust people. It's just something, it's your DNA or something. Like, you don't like to trust other humans. You don't like, and I feel like with Daniel Plainview, the whole movie, for me, what I got out of it was that he has this son that he adopted, and there's sequences that he needs that kid. Like for me, I feel like to bring in Children of Men that showed what happens without kids. I feel the same way, where I understand. Like, there's a scene where he finally gets his son back, and he starts hugging him, and he's like, "Oh, this does me good. This does me good." And I go, "Wow, I got that. I understand what he's talking about. That like, you could be so grown up that you lose kind of you lose something that a child." That when you hang out with a child, it really changes you, and it really humbles you and brings you back down to the simplicity of like I said, Children of Men. When you see a child, or when you need kind of children in your life, and you need that kind of childness. Otherwise, you become a very horrid and disgusting person as time goes on, because you don't see the beauty of innocence and a time when. And just giggling and simplicity, that you become so cynical and so dark and so all those things, that just something small like a kid and a hug and these things